Hello everyone. Hope you all are doing great. My name is Parth Varu. I'm Events and Program Manager for Microsoft Reactor India, and yes, welcome you all. And very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all who all are joining us globally. Uh, Before we start our today's event, let's go through our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, participate together. So please be respectful of other people's views, understanding their differences. Be kind and considerate in a way we all engage. Yes, we do encourage you all to participate. Please drop all your questions in the comment section and we'll pick it up from there. I would not like to delay further. I would like to invite our MVP, Rajendra, with our today's session. Hi, Rajendra. How are you?
Hi Parth. Hi Parth. I'm doing good. How are you?
All well, all great. Yes,
Yeah.
Rajendra. Congratulations of being an MVP once again. And
Thank you so much.
let's get started with our today's event.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Parth. So let me start my screen sharing. Hope you're able to see my screen, right?
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay. First of all, welcome to Microsoft Reactor program, and I would like to thank Parth Varu and the behind the team, so who are giving this opportunity to share the knowledge globally with, by organization of Microsoft Reactor program. So today we are going to discuss on in streamlining the data ingestion with Dataflow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. So we will today focus on Dataflow Gen2, how we are going to import the data from. Mike, I will try to showcase some general examples and also one, if possible, I can try to showcase one real-time experience as well. Before moving on to the deep dive into the topic, I'll just try to give myself. I'm Rajendra. I'm a Microsoft Data Platform MVP and a super user of the Microsoft Fabric community and 14 years of experience on industries tech within started with the Microsoft Tech Stack itself, SSIS, and I moved to the Power BI and Microsoft Fabric currently. Working at Robert Bosch at the BI Elite in Hyderabad location. I'm also the organizer for Tech community groups. So where I can organize some events related to the next month, this month only, we are going to have a GPPB program, Global Power Platform Boot Camps as well. And if you want to connect with me on the right hand side, you can see my social networking personal link as well as the LinkedIn social network and Twitter and my blog post as well. So I will start writing the blogs and Microsoft Fabric as well as and the Power BI related topics as well. So if you're interested, please go through it and let me know if you have any ideas or else any feedback on the top of it. Fine. As per the part of today's content, we'll try to understand Dataflow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric, and also we will explore Dataflow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. What are the ways to get extract the data? What are the prerequisites as well? We'll discuss. And we will try to start integrating the Dataflow Gen2 with some pipeline building like Azure Data Factory wise. We can start extracting some bulk extraction via zip code. And also I will showcase to you how the data will be get read and where the destination, the lakehouse destination part, how we are going to get it configured in Microsoft Fabric. And next part is create and use Dataflow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. So we'll discuss thorough topic on the ingestion part, data ingestion via Dataflow, and also if time permits, I can showcase to you the notebooks also on the how we'll try to fetch the data from a notebook by using the PySpark script, and also how these tables will be get loaded onto the data, data via Dataflow Gen2 to your lake houses as well. So let's try to understand data flow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. So first of all, what is the data flow? So everyone aware the Power BI in Power BI desktop application, we know like in Power Query Editor, we will extract the data, we will perform ETL activities, extract, transform, load activities. But here, data flow is a concept where we will similar view of Power Query Editor, but here in the cloud-based application. So we know once report development completed, we will publish this report under the cloud environment, Power BI services. There itself, data flow is a concept where we can do the data extraction, do the data transformations, and load activities on an online Power Query Editor, the name itself. So if you are doing in Power BI Desktop, it's in the Power Query Editor. The same activities, if you are doing in the Power BI services level, we will do this similar online Power Query Editor activities on the cloud-based environment with ETL activities. So all the transformations are get supported on cloud-based data flow. We can perform various, whatever the sources you are extracting, we can see all the data source systems there. And also we can perform various, whatever the data transformations we are doing in Power BI desktop level, Power Query edited stuff. We can perform all the data transformations as a part of data cleansing and organized your data in a right shape. And after organizing, what we will do it, we will start loading, or else we will showcase some kind of a destination to load our, to store our table in the cloud based environment, like example lake house. So how this will be get navigated, where to configure this destination, this part also we are going to discuss today. See here, let's try to understand using the Dataflow Gen2, like traditional ETL activities, extract, transform, load activities, and ELT. Like first we will extract it, load the data into the lake houses, and then we will perform the data transformation later part of it to make our data in a right shape and cleaning part. So previously, if you are observing, we will, as I said, the Power BI desktop level, we will do the data extraction, and if our data is not in a proper shape, we will try to perform these activities in the Power Query editor, as I said. So in the Dataflow Gen2, the similar activities, and also we can reuse the existing queries for the new projects or else new data pipelines. Maybe one completed project is there. Maybe I want to reuse that particular data flow for the next project. So these kind of an applications we can try to make use of by using data flows. So as I said, it is in Power Query online editor. So we can load this data, the well-organized data, and we can store the data in a lake houses, like we will specifically, I mean, as per the destinations that we have proposed. And then we can pull that information for new projects also, the data cleansed information, we can pull it. So previously, right, we will try to do one project, means one project has been completed. We will try to re-extract again for another project the same tables if required. But the case here, the Dataflow Gen2, we can reuse it. Reuse the same table which we have performed lot of transformations. Instead of redoing the activities, we can reuse that particular table and for new projects as well. First of all, let's try to understand the key differences. Maybe a lot of queries I'm getting, like what is the difference between the Dataflow Gen 1 we worked some time back? What is the Dataflow Gen 2? So here I provided some features on the left hand side, the features part, the first column, and Dataflow Gen 2 is something simple term. Like example, performance wise, if you're using the Dataflow Gen 2, it's a slower data refreshes, which we'll observe in the Power Query engine part. So each and every editor, we have a backend engine, which is going to execute our data extractions, and it will try to provide the number of transformations that have been performed. And like that, Dataflow Gen 2, it's a have faster execution, the refreshing spot, and the storage also, the data will be get stored on an Azure ADLS Gen 2 and store the information in CSV kind of a format. Similarly, what about the Dataflow Gen 2 means? As I said, these destinations, whatever we are suggesting, it will be get stored in a lake houses there, fabric data lakes. The data we can reuse it instead of making it as a duplicate information. If you have the Dataflow Gen 2, we can reuse the same data set instead of duplicating the deduplication. We can reuse it for the next projects as well. And coming to the compute engine, so it's going to execute in the Power Query online editor as well and have the performance limitations if you're using the Dataflow Gen 1. And here the Gen 2 is a faster activities part, the data processing is faster, and also the compute engine is going to run on a Fabric compute engine. Like that, if you're observing on the first column features part, refresh I have added. Refreshing part is limited and it is slow compared to the Gen 2. And here, very important thing is currently we are moving on the data world. Data is not very small or else something. We are going to extract the larger data models, larger data sets as per the project to the project. So most of the time, as per the data, backend data, after analyzing the data, we will try to choose either we can go with the Dataflow Gen 2 or Gen 1. Gen 1 is a simple term we can see. If you have the smaller data sets, if you're working on smaller data set for your practice, we can choose Gen 1. And if you're working with larger models, larger scale of enterprise data, then we can choose further Dataflow Gen 2. And the cost efficiency and incremental refresh and use cases also have provided in my slide. Just try to take it as a snapshot if required. Fine. As I said, Data flows are reusable. We can reuse for new projects as well as streamlining for the same data set or else a semantic model for the other projects as well. So how we are going to get it incorporated? So in my demo, I'm going to showcase to you how we will try to reuse the existing data flow to my new projects as well. So if you can get started this data flow, what are the benefits and is there any limitations? Like data flow itself, as I said, online Power Query editor, which you are going to perform in the cloud-based environment on Power BI services. There are both pros and cons. Benefits are there and limitations is also available. So as I mentioned, it's a reusability part. It is one advantage. And we can also have the data consistency and the quality, how we will try to perform the data in Power Query editor on the desktop. And performance part, the things has been executed in the cloud-based environment. It is reusable, and we can make sure that it will be get stored in a proper destination. And coming to the limitations, data flows aren't replaced. Is not a replacement for the warehouses like a structured information. That is different. Warehouse concept is completely different, where we will follow SCDs, slowly changing dimensions. And one more important limitation, which I have observed in the data flows part, row level security is not supported it. Maybe in future, Microsoft, they can try to implement this row level security feature concept also. And another one is we need to make use of fabric capacity workspace if you want to use this data flow concept on the cloud-based environment. So we need a fabric environment. Fabric workspace is required if you want to make use of this data flows. So these are the benefits and limitations which has been observed as my real-time experience too. Let's get started with exploring the Dataflow Gen2 in Microsoft Fabric. So as I said, we can get connected as similar as Power BI desktop level, all the data source systems, more than 100 plus data source systems, we can get connect via Dataflow Gen2. I will showcase to you where it is and how it will look like. We can connect a simple Excel file, flat files, and maybe if you're connecting to the Azure cloud-based environment, we can connect to it. And the data will be get stored in a dedicated destination of Fabric Lakehouses. So from there, you can reuse the data set and you can further activities like if you want to do some machine learning models also, we can perform on the top of it. And all the transformations it are supported. It is not limited with few transformations. Whatever the transformations, if you are familiar and worked on Power BI desktop level Power Query editor, you can perform all the transformations on the Power Query editor, online Power Query editor, which I'm calling it as a Dataflow Gen2, like a replace, unpivot, pivot, replacing value, append queries, and so on. Fine. How we are going to integrate data pipeline? This is a separate concept. As I said, I'm going to showcase to you how the data will be get copied, and this data will be get stored in your lake houses. This part also I'm going to showcase to you. So with some general example, data flow creation, Azure Data Factory wise, how we will try to extract the data, and that particular data will be get stored on a dedicated lake houses. I'm going to showcase to you with some execution script is there. I can showcase that process to you. Fine. This is important. Before moving on to our demo, please observe a kind of a quick update. What are the activities we are going to perform on this Dataflow Gen2? So as I mentioned, it is an online Power Query editor, which we will do all the data extractions. We can inject the data first. After data ingestion, we can perform to store the data will be get stored in a dedicated lakehouse. And from there, we will take it forward like we can further do some advanced analytics like visual query building, or maybe if you want to do some data cleansing, still want to perform some cleansing activities, we can make use of notebooks also. And after that, once our data is well structured, well organized, we can start working on the report creation. Like it will be helpful for the reports, Power BI reports. On the top of it, I can showcase to you where we can try to select the Power BI report building. If your data is well structured, and further like a data modeling activities and all, we can perform in Power BI report application itself. See here, what are the activities you are going to showcase to me here on this particular session? If you're observing, we are going to create a dedicated workspace, Fabric workspace we are going to have. Otherwise, it will not work out as per one of the limitation. Another one is we can start creating a lakehouse to store our extracted data from an Dataflow Gen2. A lakehouse is required to store our information, raw information. We will inject some data. And next part is I'm going to use the data flow here. like with performing the ETL activities. Like I can also add one new column, like whatever we will do it in Power BI desktop, Power Query editor level. I can extract it, one simple month number or else some new column on the top of it as per the orders table which I'm going to extract. And then I will showcase, I will redirect to store the table orders table in a dedicated lakehouse. So this is the complete activities which we are going to perform today. Fine. Let's get start with the demo. So see here, who were not familiar how to open this, how to get start with services. We already aware once the report completed, we know where to publish it. In Power BI Desktop, assume that you completed one report development. If you want to publish a report, we will choose some destination. We will try to publish into a dedicated workspaces from here, publish into the Power BI services. Like that, I have connected to my Power BI services app.powerbi.com, or maybe if you want to connect directly the fabric, app.fabric.microsoft.com is then another link. You can choose whatever you feasible. Here, once you open app.powerbi.com, in the down, you can see currently I have opened directly a fabric application, sorry, Power BI application. No, I want to navigate to the fabric application means we can just try to select fabric tool, select it so that you can see all the important tools and functionalities that are available in fabric. So from here also you can get start to learn Microsoft Fabric, like on how to inject the data from fabric, what are the ways to create the lake house, and what are the ways to build the data warehouse concept from end-to-end tutorials has been provided from Microsoft Learn. Okay, you can follow the step-by-step exercises too. Fine. So first, as I said, how we are going to create a workspace. A general term, we know how to create a workspace. Let's try to create a new workspace, giving the name as data flow demo. And here I'm using the trial account, fabric trial. You can see my fabric trial expired, 44 days left. I'm using the trial account. And here you can try to choose as per the dataset storage model. Like if you are using a smaller semantic model, you can use it. Or maybe if your dataset size is larger, you can configure with the larger semantic model storage format too. I'm applying, I'm trying to create that particular workspace, data flow demo. You can see here the similar way how we will try to create a new workspace. I have created the data flow demo, and you can see an fabric content. This is a fabric content. Okay, I'm not using any pro license or premium per user license. I'm using the fabric trial account, fabric trial license. Okay, then how we are going to get start this extraction. First, I have created a dedicated workspace to store my extracted data from backend. Maybe I'm going to import some CSV files. Maybe I'm going to get connect to an web browser. I'm going to connect to a web browser to store my data into a dedicated workspace. So you have created currently the workspace and where the data will be get stored. So click on this new item, select the new item. So you can see a lot of functionalities and tools capable from fabric related. So first, I want to store my data. For that, I want to create a lake house. Select the lake house. First, we need to store the data, right? That's what I said. Create in lake house, giving the name as demo df. Lake house name is df data flow demo. Create it. So whenever you can create a lake house to store your raw data, left hand side on the lakehouse explorer, two objects, if you're observing the left hand side, two objects are get created automatically. One is table, another one is the files. Tables is a structured information will be get stored, tables organized data. And second one is files. Maybe if your data is unstructured, or maybe you want to import the data from some flat, I mean like semi-structured information with some flat source systems, or maybe if you want to get connect from an shortcuts, we can get connect via files also. Whenever if you can create a lake house, you can see on the right hand side top, currently we are using the lake house. On the top of it, if you can open lakehouse, there is one more option name called functionality name called SQL Analytics Endpoint. So here what we will do this activity. So here you can create some new tables like a views we can create it, or as maybe I want to optimize the connected table with few records or few number of columns. In such a scenario, I can make use of this SQL Analytics Endpoint too. Fine. How we are going to bring the data here? So in center, you can see the different ways to extract the data, like upload files, sample data they're providing. Just like on Power BI desktop also, we can see the financial sample. We can import it for our learning prospect. And also shortcut. Shortcut is something we are not re-extracting the data. We can reuse the existing data sets which are available already in your existing workspaces in a simple term. Okay, new shortcut is something I'm not going to extract any source again. I can reuse it. Example from the Microsoft One Link. I can reuse it. I have multiple workspaces which has been created. I can connect to it any one of the lake house. I can import the existing table instead of re-extracting again. Like that, you can see on the shortcut part, maybe if your source is an other environment, like other external source system like Amazon Web Services, Amazon S3 buckets, or ADLS, and even the GCS, it will be get supported. Okay, if your source system, if you want to bring the information from external data sources like these cloud applications, we can easily bring it via connectors, and we can pull this information to get stored on your lake houses. Fine. So first, what I will do in the sense as a part of our topic, data extraction via inject via new data flow Gen2. So you can see here, new data flow Gen2. From here, you can get extracted, or at the top, similar way, the same source system which you are observing in the center as like a watermark. You can see all these extractions too, similar one. Okay, you can use from get data in the top or in the center. If you want to bring the data to the lake house, you can use it here also. Okay, these are the functionalities which has been provided. So we can import some data here via Dataflow Gen2. Please observe, get data. I'm using Dataflow Gen2. Click on this. My file is available and it will be get stored in this in my local path. So I'm going to pull the information of orders table. Orders table is one. So currently, if you're observing, I'm feeling some slowness because I'm using the trial license. If you're taking the capacity license, fabric capacity license with F64, you can see the fastness also. So in my projects, I'm using F64 capacity. I'm able to see not this much delay. You can see the very quick of extraction of load and extraction data, loading the data onto the dedicated lake houses too. So this is just looks like if you're observing this particular data flow well, you can see the similar way how we will see it in the Power BI desktop level Power Query data. The same watermark with these extractions. At the top, you can see get data with a lot of source systems. As I mentioned, all the data source systems, it will be get extracted. We can get connect to it. So I'm using the more options. These are all the data source extractions. As per the project requirements, we can pull the information and store the data, do the data transformations, and store the information in a dedicated lake houses too. Okay. So current requirement, if you're observing, I want to extract the file which is available on locally in my folder, local folder, orders table. So I'll just try to showcase to you how it looks like, orders table, what are the fields that are, and then we can pull it. We will try to analyze it. It's a simple orders table. I can see some duplicates on this sales order ID. You can see it. And order date, customer ID, and some metric information like order quantity and line item total. So let's try to pull this information, order details. So it's a CSV format. Sorry, it's an Excel format. Sorry, CSV format, Microsoft Excel, comma separated CSV format. Let's try to pull this information. So we know if it is in CSV file format, you can import the data via CSV. If it is an Excel file format, you can import via Excel file format too. So I'm trying to connect text/CSV to import the data. Here, two approaches. You can provide the path of your OneDrive, or maybe if you want to drag and drop also, we can do that. You can just try to select the file and place it on the top of this drag and drop approach also, we can do that. So I'll just try to navigate it from the browse option, browse, orders table, open. Okay, so local drive only. I'm trying to import this one. So this is my path, credentials, connections. Let's try to use next. If required, these files, right, for your practice, I can share it with you so that you can also do the practice at your end, learn this tool, which is very easy to learn and get an idea of your project's part. So on the file origin tab, however, whatever the look and feel you are observing on the Power BI desktop level, whenever you are trying to pull the information from CSV, the similar one, file origin tab Unicode, and delimiter by default is a comma separator, and data type destination is based on first 200 records. Maybe if you want to choose for the complete data set also, you can choose it. Or if you don't want to detect any data type, you want to do it on your own, we can choose the data type detection on your own as well. So I'm going with the default functionality based on first 200 records. Create it. Create. You can observe the data types as well. Maybe if you want to add some new columns as a set, if you want to add some maybe example, I want to generate some month number by taking the reference of order date, I can generate it. How we will do the data transformation activities in Power Query Editor desktop level, we can generate the new columns also. So let me give first a dedicated name to my data flow like orders table instead of calling it as an data flow one. Orders table df, readable approach, order table df. And one more thing, whenever if you're working on the online Power Query Editor via Dataflows Gen2, here we have an options, right? Just try to choose an option, click on this. Here we have an important feature name called scale. Scale. If you want to copy, allow this, by default it is disabled. If you want to load this table very fast onto your dedicated lake houses, we can enable it, this particular feature, allow use of fast copy connector. So I'm using this functionality, which I feel few minutes or seconds, I feel it as a faster compared to the unselected and trying to load the file to my destination. Okay, try to choose data flow scale. Okay, fine. The remaining process, as I said, you can see all the data transformation activities at the top. Like a home tab will support some transformation. Transformation tab supports few transformation which are available. And add column tab, if you want to add any new column, we can get it added by using this add column tab also. Fine. So what I will do in the sense, I will try to generate some new columns, like maybe by taking the reference of order date, I will generate month number, and also I will try to generate the name of this particular day. Select this order day, which we already aware of it. Here we have a date. It's a new column, right? I'm expecting the month number. A new column will be get added to my table. Or maybe if you're interested to write the M functions by using the custom column, you can choose it. So custom column, here you can try to write something like uh, all the functions, M functions will be get supported. Month function. So you can see the automatically, you can see the intelligence is get detecting this functions as well. We can choose it and we can get added your formulas also. Okay, and choose order date is the field. It will be get added just like a new column. Okay, like this. I'm deleting whatever the transformation activities you are performing, that data transformations will be get stored. We are aware of this. We will get stored on your right hand side query settings part. You can see first how you extract it from where it is coming. Promoting the headers automatically, and our Power Query Editor, online Power Query Editor is detecting the right column headers on your data set. And next, changing the data types as per the connected table. So whatever the columns, if it is a number data type, if it's a date data type, and if it's an integer, it is a whole number data type. So I'm just trying to delete the step which I have added the duplicate of month column. Let's try to add one more name of the day, which date is coming under new column. Okay, so sixth month, first day, 2022 is Wednesday. So we can try to add similar as like how we will try to add the new columns in Power BI Desktop. We can get generated on your cloud environment, that is data flow concept as well. Fine. Where this table will be get stored, this is very important. So if you're observing, you can get it configure at the top, add data destination. Currently it is disabled because I have a dedicated lake house there, that's why it is been configured. Maybe I want to change the destination. In such a scenario, if you're observing the data destination at the down below the data transformation steps, so here also we can try to change it if it is not the right lake house. Currently you are observing, right, on the information path, data flow name, you can see data flow demo is my workspace, and this particular table orders table is going to store on a df demo. Okay, and it is going to update method, replace or else update method is going to perform. So maybe I want to change the lake house. Instead of storing the data in the df demo, I can use the settings button. So select it, select this last corner settings. It's a lake house, no need to change any connections here, as is. Click on next. So here you can try to choose which workspace on which lake house you want to get it stored. These are all the lake houses you can see here. You can see here. So inside of this particular community node is one of the workspace. Here, this is one of the lake house. So maybe I want to get stored this file here. I can select it. I can configure it accordingly. Okay, like that. If you want to change the current lake house to some other lake houses, means we can choose the destination configuration here. Okay, so what I will do in this sense, I will try to choose the same data flow demo destination itself, because just now I have created to store this information on an df demo file. Select it, select it, and this is the table name. Instead of calling it as an orders underscore one orders table, select next. Select next. Here, the column mapping, you can see from backend source, what is the source type, that is the data type. And maybe if you want to get changed, once it will move on to the destination data types, we can change it. Okay, so complete mapping. So use an automatic selecting. This is one of the feature. If you can try to turn it off, you can maybe, if you want to perform some append the data set with some other table, we can do that. Or if you want to replace this particular table with another, you can do that activity too. So what I will do in the sense, I'm not appending because it's a one single table. So I will try to use automatic settings. This is a orders table. I don't have any extractions to append or else replace with some data. I can just try to save the settings. Click on save. Now the configurations, if you are observing, see here one more thing. I'll just try to showcase to you. Currently, this is the formula bar, and also we can try to enable, we know, column profile settings, data quality check, right? So we can try to turn it on here. Like basically we will do that, like a column quality check on each and every table. What is the validity percentage, or maybe if there is any errors are detected, or else is there any blank information is available, we can try to turn it on this feature from here. Like let me showcase. This one also is a good feature, like let me enable it. Column profile, show column quality. This is the one, column quality details of each and every column, which we will see it on Power BI desktop level query editor. We can see all the data distribution, like unique data or distinct information which is available on each and every column in the table, and even very detailed information like a column profile information also we can observe by using column profile. So you can see here down. Okay, each and every statistics of this particular order date, what is the count, error information, null data, distant information, and so on, along with value distribution via a chart display is happening. So I will not enable this as of now. I'll just try to showcase only the column quality activities only. Let me enable only column quality details. I'm just turning off these two. Okay, see here, let's try to load or else publish this. You can see two options, publish later or publish now. I want to publish this particular data transformations which I have performed in this data flow onto my lake house, which I have created df demo. Publish it. It will take some time as per the network speed and bandwidth. This particular data flow should be appear on your data flow. Go back to the data flow now. Try to refresh it. Still loading, I think. You can see parallelly also you can observe it whether it is loaded or not by using this notification. You can see here at the top there is a notification alert is also there. You can observe via notification alerts too. A small bell icon is there, right? Notification. You can observe whether the data flow is loaded or not. You can see the notification here. Data flow order table underscore df is published successfully. Now let's navigate to the lake house. Click on this left hand side, whatever the pages or else the web browsers you are trying to open, it will be get open here. Okay, you can see it and we can navigate easily by using this vertical scroller. Like currently the data flow which I have completed, and it is completed, it is showcasing now. And this is my lake house. You can see small house with a lake, right? Small water. So this is the lake house. So you can see, just let me refresh. This particular order tables will be get available on this tables path. Okay, it will take some time as I said. Fine. What I will do in this is it will take some time, and this file will be get stored. You can see here, and also if you want to view where the file is stored or else what is the view file option is there, it will be get stored in the form of a parquet file. So there's a backend files, and this is the delta log files in the form of a folder, like temporary, I mean, cache files will be get stored here. So this is my file, that's orders table. If you want to view the detailed information about this table, you can use view files and you can see the detailed information of where the files will be get stored and what type of an format it is getting stored. We can see the complete information here. And coming to this properties, if you're observing, it will be get stored in the format of delta, and it is available in this one lake. This is the path. Maybe if you want to directly connect via some other applications, you can share this URL link. And this is the path, Azure Blob Storage path. Okay, in the properties part. Fine. Let me showcase you few more, very important details like example. This is the structure which you are observing here, right? Sales order ID, order date, and so on. What happen if I have some gaps? Example, if you're observing, I have one more file, sales order table, sales order table, one more file. Okay, sales order table, your information is coming in this way, like order space ID, column customer ID, salesperson space person ID, and so on. Some space is there in each and every column header part. Suppose from your requirements part, if you're getting the data in this format, how we are going to pull this information? Let's try the same process and see the what is the error, what type of an error you're going to receive. I'm closing the file. Okay, example, these many columns are there. Maybe if you have 100+ columns, we cannot do it manually, like removing the spaces there, because it's not going to accept with spaces. Okay, let's try to extract the data. See here, it's a file, right? Files, upload, a single file. It's a one single file. Select to this, sales order, open, upload. Please observe here, it's a CSV file format. We can easily upload it into the tables format. Okay. So tables is a structured information. Files is an we can simply differentiate in the form of managed source system, which is something like a structured tables, and files is something unstructured, unmanaged source system. Like maybe if it is a table is having some files with a delimiter separators, or maybe if it is a semi-structured information, or maybe this files is an unstructured information too. It's a file, right? So it's as simple as easy. It's a sales order underscore .csv format. I want to load this CSV to my tables. So I'm just trying to create it as a new table, and the comma delimiter, you can see it here, and just try to observe the error. Okay, a problem occurs while validating the file. So try to select the details, you can easily identify what is the error. So it's not accepting spaces there. You can see something like order space, customer ID space. Wherever there is an error, the message information, the server to load into the tables part, you can see the very detailed information here. So these cases, what we will do, how we are going to extract it, what is the process to get extract this kind of an file source system. This is very important, which I have faced on my real time too. So in such a scenario, to load this data, what I will do in the sense, what we have an option, get data, create a new data pipeline. So as I said, the data pipeline with spaces, giving the name as uh, pipeline with orders space, create it, pipeline name, order table space. So it will be open a prompt. You can see here, pipeline with order space, It's going to open a prompt. Okay, complete prompt, a wizard from source to destination, how it will be get navigated. Okay, so source, choose a data source. We have to choose the source. Where is the file located? My file is available locally, or maybe example, maybe my file is available here. My data flow, select it. It's in the files, right? Currently it is in lake house in files folder. Okay, I'm using the same data flow. I'm using the new lake house to store this information in the existing df demo itself. Okay, choose a data source. It will take some time, as I said, a few minutes. If you have any queries, right, please post your queries and let me know. Okay, files.
We have few questions, Rajendra. Would you like to take it?
Yeah. In the meantime, yes. Question.
So the question from Kayum asking like, what are the pros and cons of using Gen2 over Apache Notebook and vice versa in Fabric, since we can achieve similar computation via both ways?
Correct. We can achieve it. Dataflow Gen2 is something is as simple as extraction part. Suppose if your data want to cleanse few more, like I want to do some more cleansing and aggregations, we can go with the notebooks. PySpark, we can use it. PySpark engine. We can perform few more activities, further more activities on even Spark engines. So here already showcased you the differences between the Dataflow Gen2 and the Spark engine is something. Maybe if you are using the Spark notebooks, we can make some more cleansing activities like data cleansing or activities, and it will be get stored on your existing lake houses too as a showcase to you. So similar way, these are the options, like either the choosing part is very important. Maybe you can go with the data flows, means the processing is very simple, and if you want to write some code by using the Spark engines, PySpark it is supporting, PySQL is supporting, we can go with this process as well. But the complexity is there in the Spark engines, like writing the code or else gathering the information. That's what the main agenda. Any other? Any other
Yes,
question?
there is one more question asking like, are there any transformations in Power BI query that
Hmm.
you recommend to not to do in a data flow? Example like merge queries.
Yes, merge queries always like suggestible one is we will not do the merging activities even in the Power BI desktop. I mean, in Power Query editor level, we can do this in the back end like a data modeling or else database level we can perform. If it is not the case, my suggestion is you can do that activities on more while doing the modeling activities, which is minimal. The performance optimization part, we can see some improvement if you are doing the data merging activities instead of Power Query editor to the data modeling. So my suggestion is we can avoid that merging activities. Other than that, all the transformations, all the new column generation, it is comfortable to it in the Power Query editor, online Power Query editor itself. Hope I have answered to you.
Hope that answers the question. And yes,
Okay,
we can continue. Yeah.
continuing. So see here, my file, if you're observing, this is the current lake house df demo. I'm not connecting to the table. Okay, already the table is there. It's available on the files path because it is I'm trying to move this particular csv to the table. It's not loaded because of some spaces there on the column headers part. That's why I have chosen some another approach to load this particular table to my lake house df demo. For that, I'm using the a data pipeline. I have created a data pipeline. I'm trying to pull this information by navigating to the connected, already chosen lakehouse. One more time, I will showcase to you. Please observe here how I chosen. So this is the current lakehouse which I have created, DF demo. Select it. You don't need to re-extract again. Okay. Select it. There's the first source system and connect to the data source. So it is not a table yet. So we are trying to do some transformations on the top of it, like column header, it's by default it is choosing some, I mean we have some spaces there, right? We want to get rid of those spaces, so I'm using the files sales order.csv. You can see the file. Okay, it's going to store in the binary format only. It's a file, comma separator delimiter as is. And you can see the data preview down. So the data preview part, it will take some time. See this data preview. Whenever, if you're trying to choose the next, okay, do you want to store on the existing table? Choose the destination. We have to choose the right destination, right? This is my df demo is my connection, that is the lake house. As a root table, I want to load it as in the form of a table. It's a new table. I want to load it as a new table. Automatically, if you're observing here, the column mappings part is going to choose dynamic underscore, okay, sales order space underscore. We can change it here manually, we can change it here like this. These are the columns, right? These are the columns. Or maybe if you want to load as is to the tables part, we can load it too. And still one more, order id is string. Maybe I want to change the data type to some number like integer, okay, decimal point, whatever the string integer, I can change it. And this is a still customer id is a string. Maybe I want to change it to integer, we can change it. If you're using pipeline extraction, injecting the data via pipeline, we can have an option to do this column mappings. So I'll just try to change this one also and try to load. Okay, click on next. You can see the complete review from where to where this table has been loaded. So if you're observing, it's connected to this particular location, that is df demo, which is an existing file path, sales order.csv. Automatically you can see it's not allowing space there, it is allowing underscore orders. Okay, underscore orders, we can try to load immediately. That means transfer the data immediately to this connected destination, that is a df demo lake house. Save it. It will take some time, as I said, as per the bandwidth or network. And you can see the notifications here at the top here. Okay, here, whatever activities you are performing, you can observe the complete running status here. And coming to this copy data, whenever if you are trying to select the copy data, you can see some general information related to your table, connected source, and source part, from where to where the file location has been loading. You can see that information as well. And even if you want to check the data preview, we can try to cross verify the data preview by selecting this preview data. Okay, just try to observe the data here, how it looks like and so on. Okay, and destination, if you're observing, this is the file destination path. So the file is getting stored and it is going to get available in this particular location, this df demo lake house. It's a table only, sales underscore order. And still some advanced features, like maybe you want to do the parallel fault tolerance related activities, we can enable these features as well. Let me enable it. So see here, you want to override the existing table, or maybe I want to separate or else make it as an partition of this connected. If my data set size is very huge, I can partition this and I can make sure that this particular table will be get available in two separate, like orders table, sales order table 1, sales order table 2, like that we can partition and we can load it. And complete mapping the functionalities we can observe in this part, like source to the destination. Still, if you missed to change some data types, or else maybe if you want to delete some unwanted columns, we can delete it if it is not required to load these columns onto your lake houses. Okay, and one more important thing I'll just try to showcase to you. So here I got an error. If you're observing, I got an error. Let me check what is this. Run error. We can see the complete stats, whatever the error notifications are. I mean, it will be showcase some alert. Failed destination site is not loaded yet. 1 second, let me create it one more time in the pipeline itself. So see here again, one more time I'm showcasing to you copy data. Here you want to add a blank data flow, or you can use the copy assistance, whatever you feel comfortable, you can try to select it, copy assistance. So you can see a similar view, copying the data from where I want to copying the data from this existing lake house. Again, one more time, just try to showcase to this process. Files, this is my file. Already one file is there, and select a binary copy. I forget to select it, that's the reason. Select it and choose the destination where you want to store this particular file. I want to store this file currently, the current existing lake house. Choose the lake house, one lake. df demo. It's a file only, right? I'm choosing the file. And copy behavior, you want to flatten hierarchy or preserve hierarchy. So as is, I'm not choosing any, I don't have any hierarchical data information. I'm using as is. Choose next. Here, this is important. Data destination is in the binary format. Please choose and file format is binary or delimiter text. Click on next. So this is the binary file format to transfer the data immediately. Save it. So if there is any error, it throws immediately. 1 second, I still got it. 1 second. Destination. It's a, if you're observing, I try to choose binary. It's not detected. It is one of the bug. So whenever, if you're observing, here I have an option binary. Okay, you can see binary is displaying. Whenever if I'm trying to connect the same file and I'm trying to choose the format binary, it is not suggesting. Maybe in future it will be get rid out, and we already added this in the community forum as well. Binary. Let's try to save it one more time. Save the file. Save it. And you can also validate it and execute this file. Validate, we can execute it. Okay, this is the process. Let me navigate back to my data flow. A few more very important step as per the part of model. So see here how we are going to import any notebook. So in this particular lake house, so it's as simple. So I already imported the written notebooks. So if you're observing the same workspace, data flow, we can easily import the the notebooks as well. So notebooks, click on this. From my computer, I want to import some notebooks which has been written some code. Upload two notebooks, Python script. And this script, if you want to get it execute on the lake houses also, we can do that activity. So let me showcase that process quickly. See here, you can create a new notebook and also it will be get supported with all the different whatever the language you are aware, like a PySpark or else a transaction SQL which has been recently added. We can write the statements also. Even if you are comfortable with T-Spark engines, we can try to configure the languages, Java and so on. You can see it here. So Scala, SQL, PySpark SQL, or languages also is supported. This is a recent edition, TSQL transaction. You can configure, you can execute the statements, transaction SQL database. So if you want to use the existing notebooks and you want to store that particular data into the current lake houses, my current lake house is GF demo. I want to store that information here. In such a scenario, you can use it. You can try to use existing notebooks as well. Let me showcase you that process, how we are going to incorporate existing notebooks. See here, please observe notebooks, existing one. You can try to pull this information from this as just uploaded, right? You can use it. Select open. It will be get open with an existing notebook and we can write the statements if required. Okay, see here. So when if you're using this Spark engine, there are two types of optimizations: V-order and optimize write. So V-order is something if you want to optimize the writing of your code, like minimizing the statements and the length, we can configure this V-order. By default, it has been enabled. Whenever the notebook has been created, automatically these Spark configurations will be get enabled. You can see it. And one more important optimized write readability part. For readability part, the code readability part, we can also enable write optimize engine. Two configurations we can try to set it automatically. We no need to do it. Still, if you want to check for each and every live cell the configuration where we are going to get it configure these configurations, in the sense whenever if there is any new workspace will be get created. Let me showcase to you. New workspace will be C minute. You can delete it, you can remove this. You can configure here data flow demo, workspace settings, data engineering, Spark settings. So here you can configure the live pools. By default, these are the nodes, 1 to 10 nodes, and also medium size. Maybe if you are working with, want to create it as a new pool, we can create the new pool also, live pool, job configurations. And if you want to parallelly execute multiple sessions or else multiple codes at a time, we can configure with high concurrency enablement, running multiple nodes at a time. So these engines and configuration by default, some of the by default configurations are enabled. If you want to still execute some larger models, or else if you want to create some new pools with higher node configurations, we can try to set it here whenever you're creating some new workspaces here on this particular data engineering Spark settings. So this is what I just want to bring it to you, how the data ingestion, how it will be get loaded onto the by using this data flow concept Gen2. And if you have any queries, please post it still. I'm waiting. Yeah.
So we have a query from Bhavani asking, shall we
Yes.
use data warehouse instead of lakehouse for this? And what is the main difference between these two?
Data warehouse is completely separate concept, because data warehouse, which we will follow with some SCDs, right? Structured data only, ready to for business development. Like example, I have stored some historical data with the current information, and it is going to be ready to building some advanced visualizations by using Power BI, or maybe you want to do some machine learning is we can pull that information from data warehouse. But the lake house is something we can do some cleansing activities. Here I'm trying to perform some addition of some new columns, or maybe I want to modify my data with some column headers. These are all cleansing activities. So from lake house we can build the new warehouses, but not from, it's not a replacement like lake house level we can try to fetch it. We no need to, it's not something like we can extract direct data from lake house to the reporting part. Okay, hope I have answered to your query. This is the lake house of us here. This is the lake house, current lake house which we created. Okay, and here as I said, you can also configure it to the SQL analytics endpoint here, and you can write some optimizations on the top of it, this particular table. Okay, but it is not a replacement of, I mean, extracting data directly from the lake house to your reports. Warehouse is completely different, where you can store and follow the process of SCD2, structured information. Yeah, any other questions?
So yeah, we had a question similar again. What is lakehouse where exactly the
Okay,
data is stored? Is it a container or a new storage account in one
this
lake or like?
is a, it's a container, it's going to store in an one lake. Okay, if you are following the structure of my, I mean, Microsoft Fabric, the data will be, everything will be get stored in an one lake. Okay, the base part is one lake, and on the top of the base part one lake you can create multiple lake houses. So from the any one of the lake house you can try to fetch it, or else maybe for the new project you can fetch the data from new projects too. It's not going to duplicate the information. We can fetch it from on the top of one lake. Hope I have answered to your query. Okay, maybe in the next session, right, I will come up with again some architecture. So whoever not aware of this lake house and one lake, the differentiation. And coming to the Power BI, that data will be get stored in the direct lake, which is also direct execution or else a connectivity from backend warehouse level. Or maybe if you are using some other concepts like extractions part, we can see the direct lake option in the faster extractions part in Power BI. So we know in Power BI the data will be get stored or import method or direct query method. But in Lakehouse, if you are using Microsoft Fabric, the data will be get stored in the direct lake, which is a faster execution, and it will be try to copy the data immediately and showcase the numbers on the cloud-based environment. We can navigate it via reporting. You can see in the top reporting too. Okay. Any other questions?
No, I don't
As I said,
see any more questions coming in.
okay, one more I will just try to showcase to you. So see here, I have opened the SQL Analytics endpoint, right? So what is the benefit of using this SQL Analytics endpoint? Maybe as I said, I want to optimize it still with some new columns. So I can try to create a visual query, and I'll just try to drag and drop this particular table, orders table. I can select it, or else you can add it. You can add it. I mean, like this. See, simple drag and drop. You can see the flow. So from what is the source and destination, maybe I want to add some new transformation, or else maybe I want to optimize with some new columns, and we can do it here, the treaty transformations part here. All the transformations are supported. Okay, maybe say, see here, I just want to select some columns from this table. Choose columns are there. Choose these two. It's going to be an one more image icon. You can see the choose number of columns, these two columns. So on the top of it, I want to build some ad hoc visualization. I can visualize it. Or as maybe I want to download this table, I can download this table too. Visual means it will be automatically pop up your Power BI screen. If you can select the visual report, it will pop up here with a Power BI visualization with by default chart table chart. So similar view of how we will try to perform this activity on the Power BI. We can do that activity, but our case is completely Dataflow Gen2. How we inject the data. Maybe in the coming sessions, right? I can showcase to you this process also. How this visualization we will work it out. These two columns like a sales order ID, order number, and how we will try to perform the data visualizations on the top of it. Yeah, hope I have answered to you. Any other questions, means please let me know. Any questions? Parth?
Nope, I don't see any questions. But Shiva says, "Can you answer the above question?" Which
Which one?
question,
One second, let me
Shiva?
check.
Can you just tell, because we answered your question about what is lake house. No, he says thank you. Okay, great.
Yeah, okay. Hope you like it. And if you have any queries, you can connect me in the LinkedIn. And thank you so much, Path, for giving this opportunity. And we'll connect soon for another sessions too. Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope you all have a great day. Thank you.